Hey Pat,
What's up, Zarwar?
how's life?
Doing amazing.
Beautiful. Let's get into today's subject. How do you create a 5-year vision and plan as a real estate investor?
That's a great question, and I'm actually going to plug in a system that I plugged myself in, and this is going to be Craig Valentine and Early to Rise's The Perfect Day Formula. And this is literally an exercise. It's a book I got, not necessarily a book, but a bunch of booklets. Let's pull this out for you guys. So I signed up for coaching with Craig there just because I wanted to make sure that, I'm constantly pouring into my own mindset, constantly pouring into my own vision, creating the life that I want. And with these booklets, there's 5 of them. And this is exactly how I laid out. And, I just put myself into this formula, this system. And really starts with just figuring out what work-life balance, doing a work-life balance assessment meant for me. Then I created a life vision where I actually broke down exactly what I wanted in the next year, 3 years, 5 years, and 7 years. Then we got to do a rule creation workbook where I created actual rules for myself and what I wanted, reverse kind of engineer the goals and start with, the habits. Did a goal setting workbook, and then finally there's the perfect day transformation guide where now I know exactly what my perfect day looks like. So I don't have to worry about, what am I going to do in the next 5 years? I just need to worry about constantly putting in the inputs every single day that will generate the output that I want in 5 years. So this exercise is giving me so much clarity, and shout out to Craig Valentine and his team, because these workbooks, I think everyone should do something like this so they actually just break down what they want in life and get that clarity. So it really, again, just starts with having a system, a step-by-step in how you're going to create this vision. I know there's a lot of different ways you can use. I decided to just kind of delegate that process of instead of me trying to think of a process of how do I get to these goals in 5 years, it's just pay to play. So I just paid to get into the system, get the coaching, and then just follow the step-by-step. And now I have created that vision for myself. So if you guys are interested, I'm sure a lot of these resources are free. Make sure you hit up Craig Valentine there. He's awesome. And even my own coach on his team, Gavin, is awesome too. So that's basically what I've used of just figuring out exactly what I want my work-life balance to look like, creating rules for myself in my own life, having that discipline, and then finally putting that all together to not only have a vision for the next 5 years, but also have a clear habit and structure to each of my days. So I'm controlling the input and have intention on what I'm putting into my life so that I can get the output later on in the next 5 years.
Now, if you want to get insider info on my thoughts, I've actually started to use Twitter as just my brain dump and notes, so I can share insights in there all the time. So if you want to learn more, follow me on Twitter. That's at Patrick J. Hilario. Take care.
So why did you distance yourself from public education?
That's a good question. So I was a teacher in high school, taught sciences, biology for a little bit, about 5 years. And I kind of realized that I wanted to have a little bit more control of the curriculum and what I teach, mostly because I found that the world was adapting so fast, right? Especially now, we have AI coming into play. We have the use of the phone, which is such a powerful tool. It's better than the computers that got us to the moon, which is pretty unreal. And that technology piece, plus seeing that financial literacy wasn't really taught in school, really made me kind of start questioning, what's the crisis in education going on here? And my philosophy prof really pushed this question, and for me to always reflect on it, and we're something that we kind of work together on, and we'd always have these conversations how do we improve education? And I kind of looked at it as 2 ways. Either I improve education within the system, or I improve education outside of the system. There's actually a third option that came to mind later on once I started this journey of leaving the public school education system, is that you work alongside with the system. But really what led me to kind of take the step back was asking the question of, as a teacher, as a pedagogue, as someone who is dedicated to the art and science of teaching, is my job to teach students in the next generation how to be part of the system and society, or is it to teach them how to understand the system and society, right? Instead of just being a pawn in the game, do I teach them how to understand the game, because we're all born into a capitalist cave, whether you like that or not. It is a place that is bountiful of opportunity. You're kind of either born into that, or your parents come here to offer you that, or you come here to offer you that. But that was kind of the question I was really wrestling with, of like, okay, is my job to teach people about the system, or is my job to make sure that they're like a cog in the wheel and part of the system?
And what was the breaking point that led you to deciding to make the jump?
It was after reading Robert Greene's book, Mastery. And he talks about there's 3 stages in your life as a career or as someone who's trying to build something. First stage is really the apprenticeship stage, of where you actually have to meet mentors, learn how the process works, and kind of succumb to the process, like be part of the system, understand how it works, and be that cog in the machine, right? So I had my mentors in teaching, I had my mentors in business and entrepreneurship, and it was necessary for me to just listen to these people who've been through the game. They understand how the system works and how to become a better teacher, become a better real estate investor. And after that stage is going to be the creative active phase. And this is where you start seeing that, hey, your mentors are your peers at this point. You've gotten enough experience, you've followed the rules long enough that you start seeing, okay, there are places where it can be improved, and that's where I had to make the jump. I knew that jump had to be made, and this is where I started, still teaching. Like, I'm still teaching through YouTube, through my private students, through my group events and live seminars. It's just not in the same medium as public school education. And then finally, the last stage that Robert Greene talks about in his book Mastery is mastery, of that you've gone through the process, you've not only done the apprenticeship stage, not only have you figured it out actively and creating it around your own style of how you're going to take control of your career, but finally you reach mastery, which really allows you to start seeing things a little bit differently. Everything starts to become intuitive. Examples like yesterday, I taught a seminar on real estate and financial literacy, and I didn't go up there with a plan. I've actually done this for so long that I can come up with essentially a free associative talk and still teach, while still offering value, still offering like homework pieces to the audience that they can take action on. And it's all intuitive. I don't have to like sit there and, work an hour or 2 hours trying to build the perfect lesson plan. It's that I've already integrated a little bit of how to make these plans, and like I'm still teaching. It's just a different form of teaching.
Hey, do you have a question you really want to ask me? Make sure that you send me an email. I read all these emails. Email me at patrickhilario@hilarioholdings.com. Send me your questions there, and I'd love to connect with you and help you out with that.
Okay, and what are you doing now to keep busy?
Yeah, so now still doing the real estate deals, still coaching. I have about 33 students in the real estate side personally. We have about over 100 students in Alliance Real Estate now. And then I also coach my high performance students. I only have a few of those students there. Try to be selective with those. And essentially, yeah, still teaching, just not the same way as a classroom. We're spending time really focusing on doing these live events, doing online events, teaching both for free on YouTube and all the social media, but also for people that want a little more support, be plugged into a system, have the accountability. That's where we kind of charge a little bit more, just because gotta have some skin in the game if students want to go further, whether that's in real estate or being a high performer.
And would you say you're making sufficient income now, and also right after you quit?
Yeah, so that jump and the income actually made a big difference in that. At first I was super scared to make the jump. It's like, hey, well, I have bills to pay. I take care of my parents, take care of my girlfriend there. And I make way more now with less time. So the time freedom has been awesome, and the money has been great too. Kind of give an example, for me to work the job and make the same amount of income per month that I do now, it would be like working like 10 months or 10 to 6 months, depending on how much money we kind of bring in. So yeah, I mean, per month, it's like a 6 to 10x of what we would do before. I'm also working with a team, so it's not just me teaching, right? So yeah, it's been a great decision. Like I would, like my coach was right. My coach sat me down, Nelson there, and he's like, hey, like your job's being expensive. And like I knew my job was getting expensive. What he means by that is that, I'd make my 3,400 a month as a teacher. Well, how much opportunity am I leaving on the table if I'm spending that time doing that? Whereas I can take a step back, still do similar activities, still teach while also having a little bit more control of my day. And then also like 10x to 6x that income. So it was kind of a no-brainer. I just had to start believing in myself that it was possible to do this.
And what would be the challenges that you face with uncertainty?
The big challenge I have with uncertainty, or that I had, I actually got help with my mindset coach Gavin to deal with this, is accepting uncertainty, right? Like I always thought, I had this limiting belief that having a job was less risky than going into investing and real estate and really carving out my own path. Then I realized after seeing a little bit more proof that actually no, like having the job is way more risky. Like I have a cap to the income. So that means there's a cap to how much I can help my parents, like how much I can help my girlfriend, how much I can even help myself, versus by choosing the path to create my own way of teaching, to go all in into being the president of Alliance Real Estate and even coaching our own coaches of how they can teach better. That has really opened up my eyes in that, hey, everything, like life is going to offer uncertainty all the time. Like I was watching Stutz, that's the documentary with Jonah Hill and his therapist there, and essentially like talks about how life is going to be full of uncertainty, it's full of suffering, and it's going to require constant work. And the moment I accepted that, then I kind of realized, oh, there's actually more meaningful ways to suffer. If I'm going to suffer anyway, I might as well suffer building something that I truly love. If it's going to be uncertain, at least I should have something that's uncertain where I'm somewhat in control, like my own business, like my own investing, versus it's still uncertain, but now I'm dependent on building someone else's dream, working a job. And then finally, like if I'm going to have to put in constant work anyway, I might as well put in the work that I really enjoy, which is still teaching, but again, having it in different mediums, whether we're using online technologies like YouTube or doing the private coaching that way. So really dealing with that uncertainty has been probably one of the biggest obstacles. And now the key I found is just like accepting that life's uncertain. Kind of goes back to my background in philosophy and existentialism, but it's weird how that kind of works in business and entrepreneurship and investing.
Hey, if you're interested in learning more about real estate and how we can essentially work together, make sure you connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd love to connect there, and that's where we can connect as professionals, see how we can help each other grow. So just search me up, Patrick J. Hilario, on LinkedIn. Take care and peace.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
I see myself doing the same thing, in that just keep focusing on what habits need to be done every day, keep setting boundaries, making sure that I'm expanding my network with people that are actually action takers. And I find that more if I just do this 1% a day and focus on what's important for each day, we should be hitting our goals in 5 years. I don't necessarily want to like cast out what these goals are, mostly because I've been learning a little bit more about like dopamine, and talking about your goals gives you a hit of dopamine without actually accomplishing anything, which I kind of want to avoid. Instead, I really want to train myself to continually just keep working on what needs to get done each day, focus on each day. And if we can take care of each day, then the future will take care of us.
And with all that in mind, knowing how busy you are, would starting a family be in the future? Do you see that in the horizon?
Yeah, I've had those talks with the girlfriend, something that we're definitely looking into. And even with being busy, and this is why I hired Craig, because like he's a father, he's awesome, he's successful, he has very good and strict boundaries when it comes to his life. So example is like I was in Mexico with him, we were doing some masterminding, was doing our unstoppable training of how to like improve our skills as entrepreneurs. And once 4 p.m. rolled by, like he was out of there. Like he was walking out. He's like, hey, day's done for me. You guys continue. But he was going to go hang out with his family and whatnot. And having those strict boundaries is something that I've been playing around with my girlfriend there, and that we really want to build a life around build a business around the life, not necessarily the life around the business. So I know that as I get older and as we move towards having a family, that the structure to the day is going to change, and how do we like optimize that? So luckily, again, I can just place myself into a system. I have someone to ask, be like, hey, how do you work as like a busy father if you're an entrepreneur? And then they already have systems in place. So we're already building those systems. We always try to stay a couple years ahead while simultaneously focusing on, okay, what needs to be done on a day-to-day, but being okay with changes in seasons, because I know that things that work now might not necessarily work to get us to where we're getting in the future. And those are problems that we do set time I'd say each quarter even to kind of look into the future, what that looks like. So there's systems in place. Even if they're not being used just yet, they are being developed already into, how do you build a business around the life that I want, not just have my life being all the business.
And with that in mind, how would you say you juggle your time between your hobbies, your traveling time, maintaining the relationships that you have, seeking new relationships, and your job as an entrepreneur in general?
That's a really good question. A big one is every Sunday I will plan the whole week, and then every 90 days I'll plan the next 90 days. And by doing this, it really allows me to know, okay, what's the checklist of each week? So example, first thing that goes on the calendar is going to be date night, okay? Because taking care of those relationships is key. Next one is going to be a little bit more of time for myself. How do I recover? Then after that is scheduling, okay, what are the important but non-urgent tasks that I need to do? I'm working on a couple books, working on a couple projects there, and that has to be set in the schedule or else it doesn't get done. Then it's also adding, okay, time with my coaches so I can figure out, okay, where am I screwing up, right? Like I pay people to just tell me how I'm screwing up because I can't see all my blind spots, right? And I don't want to waste time thinking about something, being like, should I do this, should I do that? When I could just ask someone, hey, I'm in this situation, what's worked for you? What do you think can work for me? And then just take action on that, get some data, and then apply to the next week if it works, or change if it doesn't. And then also adding boundaries on, okay, when do I work? Who do I see during the week, right? I really want to focus on seeing really high performers and being around those type of people during the week. On the weekends, I can hang out and just like have fun, while also scheduling time to just have fun and have free space. Like I'll book in like no input white space is what I call it. In that I'll just take a walk, no earphones, just be present to the moment. And having those blocks of time helps me think. And then finally, the work gets scheduled in. So I actually schedule in work last. My goal is really to build a life where I can focus more on just developing myself, like leveling up personally in health, wealth, relationships, passions, and then not just working for my whole life. Like literally, I'll just take the money that I've made at work and then plug that into, okay, how do I get better as a person? Because if I keep pouring into myself, it allows me to pour into the team a little bit more. They could see the benefits of personal development. I can just keep leveling up, going on like what I call my main quests or my side quests, and essentially like have a life where I can actually reach my full potential instead of a life that's just based all around work.
Beautiful. All right, that wraps up today's video.
Sweet.
For all the fans out there, for anyone wanting to learn from you or learn how to get in communication with you, what would you tell them?
Yeah, so hit me up on Instagram. That's Patrick @jhilario. So Patrick J Hilario. And essentially you can contact me there. You can either book a free strategy session if you want to get into real estate, or if you're like, hey, how do I become a high performer? Maybe you already have a business that's making a few $1,000 and you really want to start scaling that, having systems. Let me know. There's a description down below. Seriously, hit it up. Like it's a free strategy session. Like I don't know if I can help you, but if I can, awesome. I'll give you some steps, build you a free customized roadmap to help you reach those goals. And then if you want to work with us on like a paid membership, like you could do that. If not, awesome. At least you walked away with like a free personalized roadmap, whether that's goals in real estate or becoming a high performer. And yeah, contact us. I'd love to speak to you. You can even email me, honestly, if you have questions. I can make YouTube videos on that. And the whole goal here is we want to offer you guys as much free value as possible. At the same time, I do understand that if you're ready to transform, that is going to require some skin in the game. But hey, if you can take the free knowledge, run with it, awesome. Like, more to you. But if you want full-on help where we can really customize it, give you the accountability, you can work with me one-on-one, have also access to group coaching there, and then constantly get accountability, support, and a system, let me know. I'd love to figure out if and how we can help you out. So thanks for watching. You guys are awesome. Hit that subscribe button. Have an awesome day. And again, hope you guys got value out of this. We'll see you guys next time.